Hi, Nick.
Hey, Adam. How are you?
I'm good. You know that my daughter is a sophomore in high school?
That is crazy.
I know. And what that means is that as early as next October, so this coming October.
Okay.
No. Would that be right? Yeah. No. The following year. I'd have to fill out my FAFSA form.
FAFSA?
Yeah.
FAFSA?
What's easy for you to say?
FAFSA.
FAFSA.
And is it the FAFSA or FAFSA?
The way you say that's hilarious. It's the FAFSA.
The FAFSA.
Yeah, FAFSA. It stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Yeah. So this is, do you know what the FAFSA is?
It is the Free Application for Federal Student Aid.
Do you know what it does, I should ask?
So it allows potential college students to receive funding at a federal level to support college education.
Correct.
And I know that there's a bunch of different factors that go into it, but I have no idea really what those specifics are.
So I'm going to guess you didn't fill yours out.
I did not fill mine out.
Yeah.
My dad did. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. Shout out to Howard. So this is a really important thing for families to understand.
Okay.
And I think that there's a lot of misconceptions that we want to clear up on the show today. So number one is there are folks who will say, I make too much money to fill out a FAFSA, thinking that because they make X amount of dollars, they therefore will then not get any federal monies in filling out the FAFSA. So what's the point, right? The misconception in that is that the FAFSA is not only used to determine how much federal money you might receive in subsidized or unsubsidized Stafford loans, but it's also used by the university to determine the qualifications of your child and how to determine how much money your child might get in going to that school.
Got it.
So it's not just, though the name says Free Application for Federal Student Aid, a lot of universities are also using the FAFSA to help determine how much money that student would get from the university.
As a scholarship or
scholarship, grants, any of that kind of money.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is that if you're not filling out the FAFSA, you're potentially leaving money on the table.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yes. So it's very important that families of all shapes and sizes are filling out that FAFSA and submitting it as soon as possible. And this is really important as well.
Yeah.
So do you know when the deadline is?
I have no idea.
Okay. It is October 1st of every year.
Okay.
So as an example, it is 2019 right now when we're recording this. So a senior in high school in the fall of 2019 would fill out a FAFSA basically October 1st is when they are open and available to be submitted.
Got it. So about 2 months when a senior starts senior year of high school.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And the reason that they want to do it so early is the FAFSAs are then sent on to the university with an application to attend.
Yep.
And with that FAFSA, the university will then say, based on your characteristics or qualifications, we believe you would be fitting for these particular scholarships or grants or whatever we have available, right?
Okay.
So again, the reason it's got to be done early is once that money is gone, it's gone.
So it's a rolling basis. So
Yes.
you actually have more opportunity to receive funding or aid when you submit it earlier.
Correct.
So you gotta move FAFSA.
You gotta move FAFSA.
Very cool.
Yes. God, the corny jokes are awesome.
I love it.
I definitely dig it. So the next question that comes up when we start talking about when it's due is, two really. How do I fill it out? I don't know what to put in and all that stuff. Your dad did it, obviously.
Yep.
So for some students, their parents may not know, and our recommendation is get help. So go to a CPA, go to your financial aid officer at the university. You can get on thriveandstudentresources.com and find a professional that will help walk you through that process. So the reality is when you fill out that information, you are using the prior year tax information. So can I walk through that?
Yeah, please. Prior.
So that means that if you are filling out in 2019 a FAFSA for the 2020 school year, you are actually using 2018 taxes because your 2019 taxes won't have been done yet.
Gotcha.
So they are basing your eligibility or your need-based numbers on not last year's taxes, but the prior year's taxes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Prior. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Are there people who will, I mean, I'm assuming that there's people who will start, I mean, so this is good to know because you could at least get ahead of it if there's certain things you can change in your finances.
Right.
Right? Okay. Do you want to go into how people can really prepare for filling out the FAFSA?
Well, obviously the FAFSA is looking at your income, right? So it's basing a lot of the calculations on your adjusted gross income.
Okay.
If you have the ability to decrease your adjusted gross income the prior year, you may be eligible for more federal aid.
Got it.
As an example. For those that, like as an example, if you own a business, you might be able to do that. W-2 employees might be a little more difficult, although you could contribute more to your 401k for that prior year, which would decrease your adjusted gross and then, maybe perhaps make you more eligible.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It sounds like there's a lot of planning that is involved around college.
There is so much planning. A financial advisor friend of mine said it is the second most complicated thing you'll ever do.
What's the first?
Plan for retirement. Do you know what the third is?
So retirement's number one.
Yep.
College is number two. What is the third thing to plan for? Difficult thing to plan for? Marriage?
No. It's actually raising a teenage girl. That's the third most difficult. I made that up. I don't know if that's it or not. All right, so the goal of both the show, the FAFSA, all that stuff is that families understand that as of October 1st, the clock has started. And so if you are someone who is looking at going to school next year and you have not yet filled out a FAFSA, the time is now. One of the calculations that is made is the expected family contribution, also sometimes called the EFC.
EFC.
And the EFC is basically how much your family is on the hook for on an annual basis for your college career. I will say that by and large, when people fill this out, they'll often say there is no way that a family would come up with that much money, right? Because it may say, oh yeah, your family needs to come up with $16,000 or $20,000 this year. Right, for school. That's the expected family contribution.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And they're getting the EFC, expected family contribution number, from the FAFSA form.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So just so I'm crystal clear, even people with high incomes who may have a conversation and they tell themselves, oh, I don't need to fill out the FAFSA because I wouldn't get any aid,
right.
Can still get aid or grants from the college level.
Correct.
But they also need to fill this out to learn what their EFC, expected family contribution, is.
Right.
So what happens if you didn't fill out a FAFSA form? Is there any impact on EFC amounts or?
No real impact on the EFC amount. What would simply happen is they would apply, they would plug in their information on the application form in terms of finances, and the financial aid office would kick back, here's the package, here's what you're expected to do.
Gotcha.
At which time then families usually say, I can't afford that number. And the financial aid office would say, oh, well, we have this basket of loans that you can apply for.
Got it.
That would make it possible.
Got it.
What they will call your financial aid package.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? And the package looks like, loan, but it all says financial aid. And so some families who aren't in the know look at that and go, oh, cool, I got financial aid, not realizing that what they actually did was signed up for a number of loans.
And need to pay it back.
Got it. So if this is all foreign to you and you're just getting started, our friends at Thrivent Student Resources have an immense amount of information out there for you. There is a really incredible page on their site that's all about college planning, and they have the 5 core principles of a wise college parent that are really incredible. And it goes through things like engaging your student in the financial process, being wise with debt meaning not taking on too much, understanding your roles, spending wisely on the college environment, and then protecting your family against setbacks, which could be insurance and those kinds of things.
Got it.
So again, check out thriventstudentresources.com.
That is awesome.
Final thoughts on the FAFSA.
I learned a lot actually in this episode,
Yeah.
which is great. I didn't know that it was on a rolling basis, and that once the money's gone, it's gone. So definitely be on top of this. I would put a calendar reminder for October 1st,
No doubt.
or if not, a week prior, so at least set myself up for
Yes.
it. And then also the prior. So I think parents or students as they're filling this out with their parents, that is something that is definitely something to know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And do not go at it alone. I mean, if that's something that you're looking at and scratching your head, find someone that can help you fill that out. Yeah. Once you get in, it's fairly self-explanatory, but it does take sometimes the eye or mind of a CPA or a financial aid administrator to get you started. So check that out.
Beautiful.
All right, challenge.
Our challenge. So go to thriventstudentresources.com and really check out, they actually have an expected family contribution calculator. They have an EFC calculator, as well as the 5 core principles of a wise college parent PDF that you can check out and apply in your life.
Yeah, there's some great stuff there. Check that out. On tomorrow's show, we're going to talk about the difference between a debit card and a credit card. Fun stuff. For every debit,
there must be a credit.
Indeed. See you tomorrow.